Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 110 of the WA Running Podcast as we record on Monday, the 16th of March, 2026. In this week's episode, we recap what is arguably the biggest weekend in the WA running calendar with three big events that included Herdys Frontyard Ultra that started on Friday afternoon and finished off on Sunday afternoon. We had the Runningworks Canning River Running Festival that had distances from the 10K all the way to the marathon. And we also had the Marathon Club's Darlington Half that also featured an 8K race as well. Across my screen is someone who she sang, she danced. I think she had blisters on top of blisters. She had a bloody good time from the looks of things. Vicky Richardson, how are you, mate?
I'm really good, thank you. I'm still very excited. And I still have blisters on top of blisters.
Very good, very good. I mean, you weren't, the plan wasn't for you to be on tonight's episode, but looks like you've pulled up very well from your 25 yards over the weekend.
And I have had more than one, but maybe not that many comments about, well, really looking forward to your recap on Warp. And I'm like, well, it's going to be old news by next week, so I better come on and talk about it.
Get in.
So
okay.
For anyone who doesn't want to hear that, you have to tune out. Come back next week.
Sounds good. All right, and then on the other side of my screen is not Chris. He's in Singapore, too busy eating some ice cream sandwiches. So I think he posted a photo of one of what will be many ice cream sandwiches in Singapore. But instead of Chris, we've got someone who wears so many bloody hats that the intro will be too long. But I know that she is one of the head coaches of Ogging Track Squad. I call her the pink Barbie bitch affectionately, Savannah Rayner. Welcome to the WA Running Podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Yes, Pink Barbie Bitch is here.
Yep. Yes. The Pink Barbie Bitch aura is here and amongst us. How you been, mate?
Yeah, good. Yeah, doing well. Thank you.
Yep. How's running been for you of late?
Good. Yeah, we are finally climbing. I think last week was my biggest week since the injury. So it's been good. It's been good to actually stack some weeks up. Now I just got to keep that momentum going as we get into the next few races. But yeah, I feel like things are finally clicking and we're getting there.
Beautiful. All right. Well, let's talk us through your last week. So what's the mileage been like? What's your key sessions? And yeah, what's some of your reflections with your recent weeks of training?
Yeah. So yeah, last week was 96K. So yeah, definitely the biggest week since pre-injury, which was last April. So yeah, quite happy to tick that one off. There was a bit of that temptation to, do I add an extra 4K and just tick over 100? But I thought let's be safe and follow the plan. But yeah, I guess in terms of key sessions, Saturday was 2 by 25 minutes at tempo effort. So I feel like my tempo pace hasn't quite been there over the last few weeks, but I feel like things are finally, coming together. The wheels are finally turning. So I felt that started off a little bit slow on that first effort of 25 minutes. And by the second one, I felt a lot more comfortable, a little bit more fluid. I don't feel like a baby giraffe anymore when I'm running. So that's always a good sign. But yeah, other than that, some like a midweek long run, started to add in some of like the VO2 session on the Tuesdays. So things are finally coming together, which is super exciting.
So it's probably been, it's not quite 12 months, hasn't it, in terms of your big injury last year? So talk us through that experience in terms of how devastating that was and how long has it been to sort of come back to where you are now?
Yeah, so the stress fracture, I guess, diagnosis was the 3rd of May. So yeah, not quite a year yet, but I probably did have signs in early April that there was some pain in my femur. But yeah, so May it was diagnosed and I was put on crutches for 11 weeks. 7 weeks of that was non-weight bearing. So yeah, on crutches the whole time, couldn't put any weight on that leg. at all, even around the house. But yeah, it's been a really slow progress in terms of my first run back was 5 by 1 minute running, 4 minutes walking. So we started from baby steps, and that first run felt really horrible, if you even want to call it a run. But yeah, and I guess we just have to be really patient over the last few months, just trying to get those Ks, even the minutes, I guess, in the early stages, just to get the body used to feeling good again and just absorbing the load. Obviously, there's been weeks that have felt a lot better than others, but just really listening to my body, and also, I guess, like working with my sport doctor and physio, just to make sure that we have been smart in my approach. But I would say that probably from October, I came back on to Tina's plan, after I was cleared after running 30 minutes continuous for a few weeks. So we've been slowly been able to build from there, and yeah, I guess just stacking the weeks on weeks. Yeah, it's been a pretty tough journey. Yeah, lots of tears.
Yep. Has there been, I suppose, any learnings from being out from all that running and, sort of taking those learnings into 2026? Because obviously big goals this year, and you missed out Sydney last year, but hoping to train for Sydney this coming year. Is there anything that you've learnt in the last year and something that you'd want to implement for this time around?
Yeah, I think I've always been aware of how much fuel we need to take on anyway as distance runners. But I think the biggest learning last year was how much extra fuel we probably need. When we think we're actually taking on a lot, we probably aren't even scratching the surface. So just actually being aware of what we're taking on, and working with a dietitian to make sure that our fueling requirements are exactly where they need to be. And as the distance is increasing and the load's increasing, making sure that your nutrition is keeping up with that as well. So I think that's going to be a big focus as I head into Sydney, because I want to be on the start line. I don't want to be on the sidelines again. But yeah, I think that would be the main focus.
Beautiful. I mean, so what is your plans for this year? Because I know you have a spreadsheet of upcoming races. What are like, if all goes to plan, what are your big ticket races of this year?
Yeah, Sydney being the main one. Definitely just want to be on the start line. I'm not sure if it will be a PB time for me, but I just want to be there healthy, get to the finish line. So I guess leading into Sydney, I am doing Bunbury, I guess, in 4 weeks' time, which you are pacing me, which is exciting. I'll be doing the Bridges 10K after that, but more of a steady run just because it's the week after. And then we are doing HBF half as well, which is super exciting. I was really sad that I missed out on that last year by 3 weeks. And then after that, we'll be straight into the marathon build. So just need to be building across those 3 months, and then Sydney's the main goal. And then, I don't know, my spreadsheet is not quite detailed after Sydney.
Sounds good. So talk to me about what running means to you right now. So you from what I remember, you started off running track when you were younger, and you've sort of progressed through, and now you're coaching. You've got your own personal goals and your own running as well. You're potentially organising a potential race later this year.
Yes.
So many hats. But what does running mean to you right now, and how important is running to you?
Yeah, super important. I think I've always been super involved in running ever since I was probably 7 or 8 years old, and I think it's just developed over the years. And I think currently, I guess I'm in a really exciting patch at the moment where, I'm back running. I'm not injured. I'm enjoying it. And I'm coaching as well. So, being down in Ogging and coaching my athletes, I love giving back to people as much as I can. So having a group of athletes there is super exciting, and being able to, mentor them and empower them to achieve their own goals as well. Gives me a lot of satisfaction. And then in terms of my own goals, I feel like at the moment I'm just a little bit curious of my potential to see what I actually can do in terms of what maybe this comeback might look like. But also I'm aware that I am still fairly young, so got a while to go.
Yeah, Beautiful. Tell us about Ogging Track Club. So how did that all come about? Like what was the genesis behind that and how did you get involved with the
Yeah.
team?
Yeah, so Ogging has been around for a while in terms of the triathlon side of the
Mm.
business with Nick and Johnny. And then Luke Burrows started the Ogging Track Club last June. And yeah, I guess he started that in the middle of winter, had a few people down at the track. And since then, it started to grow. It's been a huge growth over the last few months. And then, yeah, Luke contacted me in middle of September, and then I started in October. And yeah, it's been amazing to be part of a track community again. Has been super exciting. I think I haven't been around the track side of things for probably 6 or 7 years now. So being
Mm.
back at the track is exciting. Seeing my
No
athletes run on there.
PTSD?
Look, a little bit. I think the smell of the track gives a bit of PTSD there, but it's fine. But yeah, just seeing it like the whole group down there on Thursdays, it's huge. We're getting up to 60 people down on a Thursday evening, and it ranges from so many different abilities. So everyone is welcome down, and the group is super supportive as well. So it's nice to see that everyone gets along and helps each other through the sessions. But yeah, I think it's a super exciting growth period that Ogging is in.
And what does success look like for the Ogging Track Club?
Yeah, I think good question. I think it's a hard one to answer in terms of everyone is so different. You've
Mm.
got people who are coming to me and are starting like their running journey completely from scratch. So they might be starting 1 minute walking, 1 minute running. And then you've got people trying to reach a 5K PB, but then all the way up to the marathon of people trying to, run 240s, 230s. So it's such a vast range of runners, but a super inclusive community as well, which I do love about it. And I think with so many athletes been joining in like the last few months, a lot of them, say to me, "Oh, it's a bit scary coming down to the track. You've got a group of 60 people down there. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to fit in." You give them a session or two sessions, and then they come back and they're like, "Oh, actually, Sav, like I love this, and I'm enjoying my sessions." So, yeah, it's such a wide variety of runners, but yeah, an amazing community to be part of.
It's I can agree with the idea that going to the athletic stadium is fucking scary and very intimidating. Like I feel like when I had a very short stint as a track star, I went to the athletics track I think on a Tuesday morning at 11, and even that I was like shitting myself just driving to an empty stadium. By the way, no one's there. And I don't know what it is that sort of makes it such a intimidating atmosphere. And then, you have strive meets that are even more intimidating. So I can really appreciate why, the average would feel the same as well.
Yeah, I think it's a hard one to pinpoint as to why we get that feeling, but I think when you kind of go down to the track, you get that sense of professionalism potentially, and you're like, oh, should I be elite if I'm down at the track? Where that's definitely not the case, and I feel like the more that we can provide an inclusive community and an environment that people feel safe to come down and train at, the better for everyone. But yeah, I completely understand where you're coming from as well.
I think it's partly, or potentially, because it's the part of running that's most televised, perhaps. When you see the elites running, and obviously the Olympics, Con Games, other bigger meets, you wouldn't necessarily see many road races televised unless you go looking for them. Obviously, we would potentially because we are in the running community, but and quite long time runners and fans of the sport, but not everyone does that. So it's other than the London Marathon in the UK, which used to be the big event that everyone stayed home to watch. Well, I mean, I did. I don't know if everyone else did, but it's not common, is it? So I think when you see elites running on the track and that's what you're watching on TV, you're like, I don't belong there.
Yeah, I think so. And I think like you look at the typical track runner and they're lean and fit, and then that in itself is very intimidating, right? When you don't sort of fit that mold of a track star, it's pretty scary. So it's pretty cool that you've sort of developed an environment where people of all abilities can just rock up on a Thursday session, and whether or not you're a young gun that's really fast or just someone that's just starting out running, that people are wanting to turn up and do a session there, which is pretty cool. Beautiful. Excellent. All right, we'll move over to you, Vicky. What was your week in the lead up to Herdys?
Well, it was more cling film than running, to be honest.
Yep.
I think I did 12K in the week, maybe 40 minutes probably not even that, actually. Wouldn't have been. 40 minutes on Monday and 30 minutes on Wednesday, and then just tried to stay calm and do some calf raises and massage my Achilles and all that stuff. Yeah.
What was the, because obviously you had, those sort of issues. What was the confidence like in the lead up to Herdys?
Really low. Really, really low. Yeah. I think one of the things that I just was messaging Tina earlier, I think one of the things that was the biggest help from her and from other people who know me and know what I need was just encouragement and trying to give me a boost of confidence that it was going to be okay. Don't worry. And, I spoke to you about it, Sav, and I spoke to Ella about it as well, and went to see Ella the week before. Everyone was just like checking in and, you'll be amazing. It'll be amazing. Don't worry. You're doing everything right and stuff. Fine. So that was really helpful. And that was what I needed. But I didn't have, I felt like a bit of a fraud, if I'm honest, like rocking up. I didn't feel as prepared. We'll get to that. But I didn't feel as prepared as I was the first time around. But I felt too prepared for what I felt was my current like body fitness, like cardiovascular fitness. I knew was good, but my body, I didn't know whether it would hold up. And so I just was looking around, and I think Andy Carrington, who was we shared a gazebo, he looked at me and he was like, well, now I've brought all this stuff with me, I better be here for a while. And I was like, me too. Like, it's taken me so long to set this up. It would be ridiculous if I was like out after 10 laps, because I'd got plenty of stuff. And people were like people who hadn't done it before were coming in and looking over at my schedule that I got printed on A3. And they were like, I was just looking at this. And I was like, oh, please don't. I was kind of shrinking into a corner like, oh my God, like, I'm so not, I'm not ready for this. I'm not like, I'm worried that I'm going to let myself down. So yeah, that's how I felt. My confidence wasn't very high.
Yeah. It was probably like a bad idea to have your gazebo right at the front as well, because people were just going through your gazebo as we were heading to the start of each lap as well. So we were checking out your setup every single lap, being very curious as well.
Yeah, maybe. Although it is a good spot though there. So I did. You saw me. I commandeered that spot. I was like, I'll have the front corner, please. Yeah. But yes, it was okay week. It was a busy week work wise, and everyone. We've all got most of us people who run have got other things going on in our lives that is not running, correct. And it is a distraction / not something that you actually need to do, like go to work and earn money. So what's going on?
My week was being a first time Herdys or backyard ultra run. I had no idea how I was going to taper for this race. So it was more or less a classic taper week, albeit no Thursday 3x3 minute session that Tina likes to make us do, but still did a VO2 session on Tuesday. So that was 5x90 seconds. And then it was just easy running in between. So it was about 30 Ks all up. I did take Thursday off, I think. Yeah, I did. And to be honest, I wasn't really thinking about it because I didn't know what to expect. I guess in the lead up to it, there was a lot of logistics involved in prepping everything, and I like logistics, so that was good. But other than that, it was a cruisy week, and it probably wasn't until I rocked up on the Friday afternoon where I started to get very, very nervous and shit myself, and was very quiet. And yeah, it wasn't until the race started that I kind of eased myself into it. But other than that, yeah, it was a strange week leading into it. That's for sure. All right, well,
it's a strange start time as well. A Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock, very strange. Like, it really throws you out. You're like, what am I doing? I'm kind of waiting around to start a race at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So yeah,
exactly. I did. I had Thursday, Friday off. I just didn't want to work on Thursday, not for any particular reason. Kind of just used Herdys as an excuse to go, oh yeah, well, I'm better pack. But Friday I did take off. Friday was more, what was I doing? To be honest, a lot of nothing. Like, literally nothing.
Yeah.
What about yourself, Vicky?
I was meant to have Friday off, but I ended up having to I was going to dial into a work call just because it was a kind of a monthly session that I hadn't attended for the prior month because I'd been in the UK and it had just not been at the right time of day. So I thought I better go to that. And then I ended up getting roped into doing a presentation at it. And so I was like, I was so stressed, and I was then doing this presentation and being like, I really don't need this distraction right now. So that was hard, actually. But anyway, got it out of the way and then logged off at like just after lunchtime-ish and tried to get some food down me. Yeah, but it was a bit of nothingness in the morning when I was kind of back and forth to Herdys to set a few bits up.
Yeah, cool. All right, well, let's get straight into results. So we'll start off with Herdys Frontyard Ultra. Vicky, did you want to the race has ended, so
it has. Yeah, so it was a brilliant watch. I was on the socials watching the live feed. I wasn't in any fit state to get back down there yesterday afternoon, and I didn't want to be in this sun really. But yeah, the women's, we'll go through those first. So Tammy Lovett was the last female standing. Won last year as well. She completed 30 yards, which was a PB. I believe her PB was previously 26. She looked incredible all the way through. I watched her just trot off into the distance. Each time, did have a brief chat with her on one lap, but she was looking very good, very controlled. Jen Millam, who is a incredible ultra runner. She was running with Margie Hadley early on, and I knew she would be going a long way. So she did 27, and Genevieve Warrener was third. She did 26. She had a PB of 21 prior to that, so she did incredibly well. So we had a few chats as well. Complimented each other's tutus and that sort of thing, as you do when you're doing these kind of events. Awesome ladies that were in the top few. In the men's, Colin Malden was the last man standing with 50 laps, 50 yards. Yes, it says here, Vicky's hero. He is my hero. We'll get on to Colin in a bit when we talk about the race recap. He won Byrdy's last year in 59 with 59 laps, 59 hours, and he was running again, very relaxed, very controlled, like coming in 50 minutes. He was about the same pacing as me, and he was there with a group of guys. They're all from Bunbury. He come up with his mates. They were just chilling. It was really, really nice atmosphere. Jason Rantel was second with 49, timed out on 50, 12-yard PB. He was from, I believe, Victoria, South Australia.
Victoria, I think.
Yeah, Victoria, yeah. So don't know that name, Jason, but great job to Jason. And then Alex Schult from Germany, I don't know whether he's from Germany, but I think he was German. He's from Germany originally. He did 49. I think that was a 20-yard PB for him. He turned back after 50, on 50, sorry. He was looking quite cooked by that point. But yeah, incredible effort. Turned up, I believe, and I don't know how much of this is rumour and how much of it is true, but he turned up with I believe no crew, some sardines, and off you went.
Some water. Yep.
Yeah, and there you go. That's what gets you to 49 yards at Herdys if you're Alex.
Unbelievable stuff there. Yeah, I don't know how much of that was true. It was just coming through our chat group.
Yes,
we
I
just
know.
took it as truth.
We cannot confirm. I imagine that there was a tin of sardines somewhere, and then it became the guy that turned up with the sardines. But yeah, anyway, he was again another very kind of casual guy. He was like running again, not much quicker than I was, just kind of taking it easy, taking his stride. I will shout out the Wolves here as well. So there were about 30 of us that ended up participating. We covered 2,250 kilometres approximately, and have raised almost, I think we're about 60,000 now for Lifeline WA. That will cover probably more than 14, but the number I've got is 14 crisis support workers to be on the phones and be answering calls from people that need help. So a massive total there, and just a shout out to the Wolves, but also the crew, and also all the really generous donors that we that have kind of have given so generously to that cause and supported the group, but mainly supported Lifeline WA. And the Lifeline team were there on Friday, absolutely thrilled, like buzzing, having like taking it all in and getting some photos and things. So yeah, that was good to see as well.
Excellent. All right, well, let's get into our own recaps of our respective races. So let's start with pre-race, and we sort of touched on that a little bit earlier with our training weeks, but obviously heading into the race, not feeling as prepared, Vicky, as you would have liked. But in terms of your prep and your strategy and game plan, what was it pre-Herdys?
Yeah, so I think the things, I learned lots of things the first time I did it, and I made sure not to make those mistakes again. So the 4 big things were I didn't take the right foods. I thought I had, but my foods were all too dry. The weather was very humid and hot, and I found that I just couldn't eat anything after a while. Mm-hmm. So I really focused on nutrition. I did a course with Gabby Villa, and she helped me so much with my plan. She was very generous. I to be honest, did not make the most of the course because there was a lot going on. There's been a lot going on for me in the background, but I got a huge amount from the support that she gave me, and I'm very grateful because it worked very well. So food was the biggest thing, one of the biggest things. Pacing was another big thing for me. I went far too quickly the last time I did it. I just covered too much distance in too little time, and was finishing my laps burning through too much energy. I didn't adapt to the weather at all. I wore I wore a crop top and shorts, same shorts and crop top the entire time, just a visor. Wasn't sun protected enough. Was hot, but I was like, well, I don't want any more clothes on because I'm too hot, and I can't change because I'm too sweaty, and so that sort of stuff. I just didn't adapt my food to the weather, didn't adapt my pacing or anything. And then the other thing was that I didn't prep my crew well. So my crew were all first timers, and I just did not know how to prep them because I hadn't done it before. So while I'd got a very clear plan, and it was actually a very rigid plan, which was part of the downfall, I didn't do that whole thing right. So this time I was like absolutely dead set on making sure those things were not the mistakes that I would repeat, and I'd learn from them. So they were the things I focused on the most.
Yeah, great. So what sort of nutritional changes did you make then? So you were saying that last time you did it back in, was that 2024?
2 years ago. Yeah.
2020. That was too dry. Like, what sort of foods did you replace it with instead?
So I'd got, in that plan, I'd got things like too dry, too sweet. So I'd got electrolytes and lollies for every lap. Then I'd got things like pastries and donuts and what else? LCM bars, gels. I'd got sushi. I'd got sandwiches, like things with jam in, like just biscuits. Like, I don't know, lots of sweet stuff, lots of dry stuff. And like, it wasn't that I hadn't practiced with it. I had. But what I ended up having was like a pot noodle and a bottle of custard, which wasn't adequate. So this time I made sure I'd got custard sachets, and I used like Milo energy pouches. I'd got rice pudding. I'd got peaches in syrup. I'd got salt and vinegar crisps, different varieties of wraps, which honestly, if anyone ever shows me the wrap in my life, I will can't possibly go near it now, but they were good for a while. I did use pot noodles again because they just go down easily, and then it's not much flavour to them. They're just fuel. Ginger beer, Coke. Both of those were brilliant options. Like the ginger beer and the salt and vinegar crisps were amazing. You get to a point where you're like, oh God, food, like, ugh.
Yeah.
Because you're eating every hour. And then I was even like getting to the point where I was taking a bag of crisps out on my laps with me and just putting them in my pocket. I had this great big bulge in my pocket of crisps, but instead of lollies, because I was just like, no, I don't want the lollies, this slap. I'd take a wrap out with me. So they were the main things I did differently on the food front. And then all of my options, I'd kind of got a 4-hour rotation of food, and then I'd have like equal value carb foods kind of lined up, so that if I didn't want one, my crew could go, oh, would you want this instead, or do you want that instead? So it was like very easy for them to just swap stuff out for me, which worked really well.
Great. I think for me, I stole your spreadsheet and took on your feedback of more salty food, or more variety, I think. So I was able to do that. But I think you're right. I think looking back, definitely very dry. I probably would have appreciated more, I don't know, some variety, because after a while, the dryness of the food became very unpalatable.
Yeah.
And it was really hard to consume the food much, much later. But what I did was I essentially had food in sandwich bags for each lap. And similar to how you set up your spreadsheet, it was grouped by, I guess, serving size. So I had a bunch of sandwich bags for, the extra small portions all the way through to the large portions.
Yeah.
So that in a way it was idiot proof for the crew, but also if I didn't have any crew, I knew that I could just pick a bag from a section and just, bring it to me on the lap, or it was pretty easy. But I think, you're right. It very quickly, the dryness of the food just got to me, and I struggled to consume stuff. Luckily, I brought a lot of backup foods that weren't in the sandwich bags. So I did bring gels, a whole bunch of gels. So I wasn't reliant on the gels, but at a certain point in time, I was like, I just can't consume anything. So I just grabbed a Bix 40 gel, and at least I knew that with a Bix 40 gel and with a drink in my hand with electrolytes in it and some carbs in it, it'll get me through that lap.
That's good you were able to have that and you weren't sick of the gels.
Yeah, and then, once I was sick with the gels, I just get back to the food and vice versa. So that was really good. And in terms of your crew, who were in your crew, Vicky, for the duration?
Oh, the best people that you will ever meet in your life. Honestly, I can't thank these people enough. So they were all people that had either done the event themselves, been my crew before, or they come down and spectated, so kind of knew what it was about. So they had an understanding. I had Lauren, who was the last female standing 2 years ago.
Oh, nice.
So she was chief of staff, we called her.
Yep.
She's super on the ball and very organised, and she was like, I will push you out. You are not stopping. I'm going to keep you going. Then I had a couple of friends, Lindsay and Nick Chick. So they both were around last year. And then my partner Guy also crewed as well and did some fill-in sections between the girls. But a lot of the time there were two of them there, so there was a bit of an overlap. So I didn't have crew for the first 3 hours. I planned for that because I was like, I don't need anyone there for the first few hours. And then I started my crew from about 7 p.m. Through all the way through.
Oh, nice.
And so they each had a handover. Often the handover they would stay for another lap, and then like two of them would help me because there was we'll get into it, with some problems that I needed resolving. And what I did was as I set up, I took videos of everything that I was setting up. So I was like, here are my little cubbies of all of my, singlets and my long sleeve tops and my shorts and my socks, and this is my kind of hygiene spot, and this is where the toothbrush is, and this is where this is, and this is where, like, all of the different areas. Yeah. So I've got all these videos, and I talked it through as I went, so they could at least see like everything that was there. And then if there was anything that they thought of that they couldn't see, they were like, "What about this? Where is that?" Like, so that was quite helpful. So yeah, they were prepped well, but they're also very like confident people who wouldn't. I knew they wouldn't like worry too much, or did they'd just get on with it, and they'd be quite firm with me as well. So that was good. That's the sort of people you need. I need, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, cool. Simon?
Yeah, I think so. My crew, all first timers, including this first timer. So, but look, I think I was probably more around the logistics side of things, but more of the company more than anything. So I had Matt Smiley, I had Ella, I had Linda, and my daughter join for a little bit at the start. And then I had Chris and Tien, I think somewhere between sort of 9 and 11. And then I had a huge gap between, I'm going to say 11:30 to about 4 o'clock, which unfortunately was when I started to spiral.
I think that's where if you'd had somebody then, you probably wouldn't have gone down that hole so much.
Exactly, yeah. So Brendan came, I think, at 3:45, and unfortunately Brendan copped a very negative version of me, and a very quiet version of me as well. And then we then had Matt, Ella, sort of come around anywhere between, I think, 4:30 to 5:30 they were there. So and then in between we had Renee. I think Renee was there at the start and also in the morning as well. And then we just had people sort of all throughout. But the midnight to 3:30 slot was a very lonely and I didn't think it was going to be a problem until it did. Like, it sort of just came very quickly. I think midnight was okay. I think it was probably about 1-ish where, everything just got quiet, like just generally as well. So, I think I started to just spiral, and then it was when I didn't want to have any food, and I think I just kept spiraling after that. So, they were amazing. I think what I needed was company more than the actual logistics of giving me food and all that sort of stuff. I think I had organized it in a way that I was able to get through and get by, but it was the company that I think I needed.
Just someone to push you through and just chat to you throughout the night.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. All right, let's get straight. Was there anything in pre-race that we wanted to talk about?
Well, probably like just the atmosphere down there. I mean, Sean and the team put on such great events, and it was buzzing. I, to be honest, find it quite overwhelming, and I was quite anxious already. But like, everyone's so excited, and on reflection, it's nice to think about it. But at the time, it was too much for me, and I was just like, I just want to stay in my chair and not move and not talk to anyone. But the Wolves were obviously out in force. They were all getting like really hyped up, and it was a good atmosphere in the marquees. We were all kind of, Simon, you and kind of the rest of us were all together in a big group, and there was a great race briefing, and it was very hot. I remember it being very hot, standing for that race briefing, and I was like, I just need to get out of the sun. But it was I think it was a good G up from Keith. the leader of the Wolves, leader of the pack, and Lifeline as well did a nice talk, and so that was good. Yeah.
I guess, like, what is it like standing on that start line, knowing that there's actually not a finish line inside? Like, you don't know how long you're going to be out there for. Like, it's quite a different start line feeling to, like, compared to our normal races that we would be there for.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect, to be honest, and I think that was why I was feeling quite nervous about it. And I clearly didn't do any recce runs, so I actually didn't know what the loop was. So
God.
I didn't even do that. So I think, I was very ill prepared in the lead up. So I was sort of blank for the most part. Like, I didn't pay attention to the race briefing. Like, it kind of just went over my head a little bit. I think my game plan heading into the first lap was, well, there's 480 people there, so I'll just follow someone. And I didn't even have a game plan in terms of how I was going to pace it. So I know on my spreadsheet I said somewhere around the 50 to 55 minute mark, but I had no game plan as to how I was going to do that. I know people were sort of in the Wolves chat talking about like 5 minutes on, 2 minutes off, or like different variations of how they were going to sort of walk their lap. But I actually had no idea how I was going to do it. So my first lap game plan was, well, we'll just see. We'll aim for 50 minutes. And I think I ended up bumping into Russell Paul, who I know, and he had said something along the lines of, in his recce runs, he's been slow jogging for 5Ks, and there's this sign at the 5K mark, which is his cue to walk. And he's found that jog to 5Ks, walk the rest, and he's able to make it in sort of this 50-ish minute mark. So I actually ended up just doing that. And it worked for lap 1, and I continued to do that for the rest of the event, really, give or take. So that was my game plan heading to it. All right, well, let's go into our first 5 laps. How was it for you, Vicky? It was a warm start, but how were the laps sort of working?
First of all, so I was very sun protected, as you probably saw. Like, I literally was like, I'm not making that mistake again. I don't want to be hot. So I wore, and I'd been doing this in my training, I was wearing my Legionnaire's hat with it buttoned up under my chin, and so I was completely covered, and my white, I had white arm sleeves on and my Wolves t-shirt. And I was adamant that I was going to stay covered, and that worked so well. And I'm really grateful for myself for making that plan. So I didn't feel too hot once I was out on the course. I did find it incredibly congested, and I really didn't enjoy the first few laps because I just found it too many people. I reckon the first lap was my slowest lap because I was doing a 5-minute run, 5-minute walk. And because I was having to run so slowly at the start, because there were just so many people, it was a really congested path, really narrow. I just couldn't get round in the time that I would have expected to. So my runs was just slower pace. So then from probably the second lap or third lap, I found that on the far right-hand side of the start chute, there were less people. It was the walking lane. And if I started off with my 5-minute walk and then went into a 5-minute run, that seemed to be better. So I just started doing that because I was like, just out of the way. I did feel a bit of FOMO. The Wolves, I wasn't really running with too many of them, and I was kind of doing the thing that I planned to do. And I was like, but I do want to enjoy this, and I really want to hang out with people. And then I would see them. But a lot of them were a little bit faster than where I wanted to go. And I was like, no, I have a plan and I'm going to stick to my plan. And so I just kind of chatted to people as they came past me and then left them to it. The one thing that I'd just spoken to my friend ChatGPT about beforehand was how I protect my legs and Achilles and knee and everything else that was giving me some challenges in the lead up. And the one thing it said was, regular gait changes will be very important, and
Mhm.
really thinking about a very short stride. And I've got high cadence anyway, so I was so focused on keeping my feet right underneath me, and I just fell into this very natural shuffle that just seemed to work very well for the first few laps. And so that's what I did. And the other thing I did was that was a mistake I made last time. I didn't mention was I cut myself off from the world last time. I just didn't text anyone. I didn't look at my phone. I was like completely like on my own in my little zone doing my race. This time I was texting my crew. I was checking in with them. I was like, I'm going to need this on my next lap. Oh, I think I'm going to change this out. And so anything that needed to change, I was like letting them know while I was on my walk
That's
race.
interesting. Yeah.
So that they could get it ready. And then towards the end of the first, probably lap 5, I started to have a lot of foot pain, like blisters, and I could feel like blisters when rubbing, and I was like, oh no, this is not good. So I thought I'm going to change my shoes. So changed my shoes to a different pair of shoes for 2 laps. They were so much worse. And I was like, oh gosh, what have I done? So I ended up changing them back. And by that point, I'd got at least 4 blisters that needed to be padded. So and then I was like, oh, well, I'm not going to be able to pad them all at the same time. So we went into a routine of padding 1 blister on each lap. So that then, and what happened was, as we padded a blister, the pain dissipated. And I knew that once we padded the next one, the same thing would happen. And so then I knew that I would be okay. So that was making me really hobble, particularly walking. I was better running than I was walking.
Right.
Wow.
So, yeah, by, what time would it have been? Jumping ahead, probably by 2 a.m. I was definitely finding that I was running. I ended up running more because I was walking so comfortably on my heels that I'd got blisters on, that I thought, I'm just going to run a bit more and that will be more comfortable. But I thought at the end of the day, it's blisters. Like if blisters are the only thing that's bothering me, then it's okay. I can manage blisters.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. We just managed it.
Because it happened so early, did that rock your confidence in any way, or were you okay with it?
No, I was okay, and I just was like, no, I'm just going to adapt. This is okay. I just need good padding, and then I put out an emergency call on a couple of groups, asking if anyone had got a pair of 10 women's 10 autopilots. So I thought if I saw it, because that was a shoe that I was wearing, but I thought if I get a bigger size and it'll give me more room. And my friend Nancy Shaw from Yellow, she said, I've got a size 10.5. I'll bring them down for you at 6 a.m. And she did, and I changed them and saved the day for me. So I wore them for the rest of the race. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. So, my first 5, I don't remember it too well. Not that it was bad or anything, but I agree, it was very congested. I think what I've realized very quickly was if I'm doing something that is very foreign to me, I just revert to my natural introvert self anyway. So I was quite quiet for the first 5, I think, but everyone was so loud and cheery and positive anyway that kind of filled the silence, and that was fine.
Loud? Was it loud?
Oh, probably louder than I thought it would be. I think it was just the sheer volume of people, right? And then just chatting away. So I was able to just be there, really. But yeah, it was quite annoying, I guess, trying to gauge a pace that was very foreign to me anyway, and then be stuck behind people and then be forced to slow down and then go, all right, well, what pace am I supposed to be going now? So that was a bit distracting, and it probably wasn't until maybe the 3rd, 4th lap where it being started to settle. And by then I had to figure out what my strategy was anyway. So I was just locking in sort of this 50-minute lap each time. And it was funny. I think I was talking to you, Sav, over the weekend. It's so weird where you all of a sudden lock in a 6:45 pace jog. just so easily. And I was just
You're like,
starting
this is my pace.
and this is my pace. And it was strange where perhaps maybe it was around 9 p.m. where I figured, all right, I need to go to the toilet now. So I need to go to that toilet that's sort of midway through the lap. Let's just, jog a little bit quicker, maybe do 5-minute Ks or something. Couldn't do a 5-minute K. So
wow.
I was just so used to running 640s or whatever that I ended up just running, 640s until I reached that Portaloo for my toilet break. So that was probably a strange revelation very quickly was just locking into this, whatever this jog pace was. And then by then I had sort of hit a bit of a routine of, all right, I'll aim roughly 4Ks and then I'll sort of walk through that trail bit on the other side where I was starting to notice that there was a lot of roots sort of sticking out and looked like they were quite, hazardous. So I was just really conscious to try and walk through that area rather than run it. Whereas the first couple of Ks is just, light gravel really. So you could jog that and not be too worried about tripping over anything. So so that was my kind of first 5 laps.
How do you find the changing terrain? Because I know you said that there's a light gravel, but it kind of does go from like pavement to limestone to pavement to limestone to pavement to trail.
Yeah. Not too much of an issue. I think later on when I was starting to get tired, it became problematic. But for the first 5 to 10, it was fine. I was conscious that I am a clumsy runner. Like the 3-4 times I've had falls have been on flat terrain. So I was a bit worried about those traily bits with the roots and stuff. But the first section where you're just changing terrain every K or so, that was fine for me. No issues.
Yeah, right. What shoes did you end up wearing?
I decided not to invest in, additional shoes for Herdys. So I stuck with my reliable Asics Nimbus 26s that I picked up at DFO for $130.
Nice.
And then I rotated through my workout shoes really, which probably wasn't the best type of shoes to wear for Herdys. So it was basically Nimbus 26s till about midnight. And then I changed into the Puma Deviate 3s. And I think I wore that all the way through to 4 a.m.
Oh, my God.
And then I changed back.
So you were struggling to put some carbon plate shoes on at like 1 a.m.?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then I changed back to the 26s because I was like, I need a change. And then I think for my 15th yard, I wore the Deviate Elite 3s. Terrible shoe to wear for Herdys. But I didn't probably do that very well. But in saying that, no blisters. My feet are immaculate. So clearly was fine.
A better strategy than mine, clearly.
It was definitely a poor mindset issue. It was nothing to do with the shoes, that's for sure. How about we go to laps sort of 6 to 10, so 9 p.m. to around 1 a.m. How was that for you, Vicky?
It was good. I like it after dark and I think it's because you can see less people. There's so many people, and I just want it to be quiet. And I like having people around, but having that many people around to start with, there were 488 starters. So that was a new world record for the Backyard Ultra starters number.
Oh, wow.
We should mention that. So incredible, but also a lot. So it was nice for it to just look a bit quieter. There was a few, actually. Andy McCarrington, Big Kev, and I stopped for a photo on the other side of the lake one point, and we were like, let's get, I don't know why we felt we needed to get a photo at that point, but anyway we did, and we looked back and there was just this line of head torches coming towards us, And it just looked awesome. It was really good. And then there was another moment where myself and a couple of the Wolves girls were on the other side of the lake, and we looked over, and the moon was a crescent moon. It was you would have seen it, Simon, or maybe you wouldn't actually. You might have had your head.
No,
down.
I did. I was good. I was good still.
Yeah, okay. It was beautiful, and I was like, oh, I just wish you could like get a photo of that, but you'll never take a photo of that. Like it was just sitting on top of the buildings in the city, just a perfect like yellow crescent moon. Yeah, so that was nice. Yeah. And then I had a lap with Emma, Lindley, and Carrie Ann, friends that did it a couple of years ago. We did it together, and we did, for old time's sake, we did a karaoke lap, which anyone who did the event probably would have heard at some point, where we basically just choose a song every time one ends and sing it at the top of our voices, and play it on our phone. And so we cycled through classics with our dulcet tones. And so I think the people generally loved it.
Which one was your favorite? What was your favorite song that pulled you through?
It was either The Greatest Show from The Greatest Showman, because that's an incredible banger, and I felt like that, that when I'm in that mood with that kind of event, I get all hyped up and excited, and then that is The Greatest Show to me. So and then we also did Unwritten, Natasha Bedingfield, which was a really good one. And then Madonna Like a Prayer is like my absolute favourite. So we did that one. But I felt like it was a little bit early in the day to do it, and it was probably 10 p.m. I was probably not quite delirious enough by that point to be singing at the top of my voice with that many people around.
Yep.
But by the time we got to the other side of the lake, when we were on to like The Greatest Showman and Natasha Bedingfield, I was a bit more relaxed about the whole thing, and so I really got into it by then.
I found my groove. I'm singing my favorite songs. We're good to go.
I have to say, when I heard you guys sing Madonna, I thought to myself, oh shit, so it starts this early. The delirium starts this early. But
the reason why we did it that early is because Emma and Carrie Ann had not planned to go that far. They were only going till midnight, they thought, and they did. I think they stopped at midnight. So we know we needed to get it in before then, because I wasn't going to do it on my own. So I needed the moral support.
I think Emma said she needed to go to school camp or something the next morning.
She got kids sport the next day. Yeah.
So good on her. Wow. Laps 6 to 10 for me was actually good. They were good laps because I think at that point I had hit a routine. I knew what I was doing. I had seen Matt, Ella, Renee, and a group of people sort of around my gazebo spot in between laps. So I was in a pretty good mood. And then there was a handover with Chris and Tien. So that was really great. So I was in really good spirits at that point in time. It was funny. I think Chris made a comment that there was a turn in vibe at the village between 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. where the party atmosphere of Herdys just turns all of a sudden. And I think it's because you start to get the first round of people pulling out at around that time, like 9 p.m., 10 p.m. So it just stops being a party atmosphere, and then it just slows a bit down a little bit. So that's what they noticed. But for me, it was fine. I ran a couple of laps with Michael, Edgar, and Fiona Hugo, who are avid listeners of the show. Fiona actually shared a pretty funny anecdote about scoring 2 free pairs of shoes through the podcast. So she attended one of our community runs, the ASICS community run with the running centre one time, and won a pair of shoes through rock, paper, scissors. Got some Nova Blasts that evening, which was cool. And then I think sometime later, she got a pair of Super Blasts delivered to her.
Oh, wow.
out of the blue from ASICS directly. So she's, as a lawyer, she decided to stay quiet for 30 days and didn't hear anything. And then ASICS did finally reach out to say, "Oh, did you get a second pair of shoes?" And yeah, after all that, she ended up keeping the second pair. So yeah, so just hearing that anecdote kind of just cheered me up. It got me through sort of this weird sort of period of 10 p.m. to midnight, and it was good to run the laps with them actually. That got me through. That got me through to about midnight. I think 1 a.m. I think I saw Emma wrapping up as well. So I was in a pretty good mood at that point.
When did your crew wrap up for you?
I think Chris left at 11:30, so he needed to get home because he was flying out to Singapore at 6 a.m. that morning. So,
wow, okay.
He's a good
great friend.
Some commitment there, but I think the plan was for him to wrap up a bit earlier, but he managed to stick around till then, so that was really, really nice of him. But yeah, I think up until 1 a.m. I was generally in a good mood. Like it was a good window for me. I think I was in great spirits then. All right, laps 11 to 15. So this is the sort of 1 a.m. to sort of 6 a.m. shift. How was that for you, Vicky?
Yeah, okay. So we carried on doing the kind of shoe routine of like just padding a blister every lap or every 2 laps I was kind of managing. And then I started to I was taking no dose from 9 p.m. I missed my 8 p.m. dose. So 9 p.m. So every 3 hours I think I did. So that was something to look forward to. But I didn't actually feel, until it got later, it didn't feel like I needed it too much. But it was just a nice, it was just like a little bit of a boost because you knew it'd kick in and then you'd feel like a little bit more perky. And then I was also doing pain relief with that as well, probably starting early hours. I also had a crew change a bit later, actually. So I had a crew change at 4 a.m., but that was actually nice to look forward to. Like, oh, I've got a new face coming now. Like, not that there was anything wrong with the old one, but just a little bit to mix things up and just keep things like fresh. And, now it's like a little milestone I've now hit, particularly through the darkness. On one of those earlier laps, probably around 1 a.m. actually, I did try to introduce Simon to my new friend Colin Malden, who ended up being the last man standing, and he wasn't interested at all in talking to either of us at that point.
Was that at 1 a.m.? No, that was much later, wasn't it?
Was it later? I don't know.
I think it was 1 a.m. I was still good. I think it was around 2-ish, close to 3.
Not that much later. All right.
No.
Anyway, he wasn't interested and he kind of just shooed us away. I was like, this is Simon. He also hosts the podcast. Simon just like ran off.
I think all I said was, hi. And then just left it there. Not interested whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, so Colin and a few of his group that he was with were doing, I think they were walking 1 kilometre and then running for 500 metres and then repeating that, which was getting them roughly in about the same time as me, maybe a little bit after or a little bit before, depending on what we were doing. And so I was kind of falling in with them on quite a few laps because it was nice to have the company if I wanted to chat, and they were really friendly and really encouraging. And so we just just shared lots of chats really, and it was nice. Or if I wanted to keep my headphones on, I'd just keep my music on and knew that they were kind of around. So that was good. Just ticked it off really. And I knew that nothing was wrong. Like everything was behaving itself. I hadn't got any real aches or pains or niggles. I was just trying to, every time I got back to camp, I was stretching my knee out because I knew that might get a little bit tight, and didn't want to sit down too long with it. I'd had and my stomach probably wasn't great for the first 5 hours or so, and I just didn't feel that comfortable. But I knew that I was like, well, it doesn't, just because it's bad now doesn't mean it's going to be bad the whole time. So I'll just keep pressing on and eating the food. And I had some ginger beer and some salt and vinegar crisps probably about 5, maybe like 5 or 6. And that really helped and just made everything just feel a lot more comfortable. And I also knew that, so the last time I did it, I just wasn't, I was sweating out everything. I wasn't going to the toilet at all because it was so humid and I couldn't take on enough fluids. I was going to the Portaloo every 2 laps. So I knew that I was probably not quite as hydrated as I needed to be, but I was hydrated enough that, that was good. And yeah, just plugged away really. I don't really have too much to say about those, the darkness. But as we got to sort of 4 a.m, I had crew changeover and and then I knew the sun would come up on the next lap or start to come up, and then we wouldn't need head torches anymore. I was finding my head torch annoying, and it was just digging into my ears a bit, and I was just like, oh, I need to get this off now. Just want to So it was good.
Yeah. Did you have like any mental strategies to get through, like those hell hours of like 1 to 4 a.m, or did you just kind of like lock in to get to like your next crew that was waiting for you?
No, I didn't mind it. I was quite happy.
I could tell.
I was quite happy, quite annoying. I don't know, depending on how you look at it. I don't know. I was just plugging away. Oh, I had a great chat actually with one of the wolves, Mark. We were both listening to music, and I went past him in the woods on the trail section, and I was like, "Oh, what are you listening to?" And he started singing Olivia Dean to me, and I was like, "Oh my God, I love Olivia Dean," and he's like, "Me too." And I'd been listening to 50 Cent, conversely, but. And then we had this whole chat about how wonderful Olivia Dean is and how much joy she brings, and she's so lovely to watch dance, and how she kind of twirls around and wears lovely clothes. And it was a very impassioned conversation.
Very wholesome.
Oh, it was very wholesome. And I didn't give another thought, forgot all about it. And then he put a comment on a social post yesterday and was like, that conversation we had about Olivia Dean was strangely inspirational to me. and now I will never not think of him and that moment in the woods when I hear that song, because it was just such a nice conversation. So shout out to Mark.
Very good. I'm trying to remember now how it all sort of unraveled itself. I think.
Yeah. At what point did you go?
I think there was a period where I was going through a very high because the only other time I've done technically an ultra has been with the Wolves when we did the 1K loops around Leighton Beach. So that was the first time I met the Wolves that day, and I ended up doing 43 1K loops. So that was my first ultra. So once I passed that milestone and was approaching 50Ks and close to 60Ks, I was riding a bit of a high and I was in a pretty good mood. I think where it sort of unraveled itself was when I started to lose my appetite, where I just couldn't eat the foods that I had planned to eat. So I just didn't feel like eating the lollies, the crisps, the salty foods. I was getting through the fluids okay because I was sweating a bit, and I would take a bottle on my lap, and I was just being like, I was able to drink all my fluid. But it was, when I started to struggle with eating what I thought I needed to eat at the time, where I started to like panic slightly. And then I think it just started to unravel from there. And I lose, and I think I am, this applies to running in general, like road running. I think when I lose confidence in myself, I start to spiral a little bit. And I think it just, I spiraled exponentially at that moment in time.
Yeah.
So I did stop talking. I think there were a couple of laps where Vicky and I would start to have a conversation, and then I would just zone out because I was just too spiraling.
We were intending to get some audio, but I just sensed that it wasn't the right time. I wasn't going to get a good response. in front of him, trying to stick a microphone in his face and get him to talk to me.
I think there were moments where I just ran off. Like I just went a bit faster. Yeah. So yeah, there wasn't anything particular like that I was thinking. I wasn't in much pain. Like physically, I was fine. Like I think.
Do you think it was like the thought of like that you weren't getting your fuel in, and knowing that that could later on come back to bite you?
Yeah, I think I was starting to get ahead of myself slightly. And I was getting tired and not feeling quite motivated. But then also knowing that, well, if I pull out now, I'm going to have to stay at camp until 6 a.m. anyway when Linda picks me up. So I think thinking about that was pretty miserable as well. And I think the darkest moment was perhaps at 3 a.m. where I was just craving connection from not the people that were running, but just from people
not
like
me or Colin.
Clearly not Vicky, clearly not Colin, or any of the Wolves guys. I mean, I feel like I need to apologise to a lot of the Wolves guys because I think a lot of them were very helpful when I, went back to my seat and offered to crew and, get me anything that I wanted. And I was kind of just zoned out at that point. I just went, no, I'm good. Deep down spiraling a little bit.
Oh,
and I think I was just craving like connection from someone close.
Someone you knew. Yeah.
And I think not having that like just got me into a really dark spot. And I think that the 3 a.m. lap was probably the darkest, knowing that Brendan wasn't going to arrive until close to 4 a.m. So that lap just felt like a long lap.
Yeah.
But in saying that, all of my laps up until this point were pretty consistent. Like they weren't slow. I think I had a couple of quick ones when I knew I needed to have a big meal or a change of shoes or clothes, whatever, but they were kind of bang on 50 minutes. So it wasn't the physical element, but definitely the mental game sort of played its part. And then when Brendan came, he bought me Macca's because the game plan was for him to buy me an egg McMuffin and hash browns and an orange juice. And the breakfast menu wasn't available at the time, so he just got me a McChicken burger and a raspberry Fanta. And I think I just berated him for the 15 minutes that I was there, just going, "This is not what I wanted. I wanted hash browns, and this raspberry Fanta tastes like shit." So yeah, Brendan really felt the full brunt of my negativeness
at 4 a.m.
At 4 a.m. Yeah. But then I think once the sun started to come up for lap 15, like people talk about the second wind when the sun comes up. Yeah, you definitely feel that. So I did start to feel much better sort of come lap 14, lap 15. So that was quite good.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, wow.
So that changed instantly. But I think by then it starts to take its toll, like being up and sleep deprived. But yeah, definitely out of that mental hole that I was in. That's for sure.
Especially not just being underfueled as well. I just think you just like it's stacking all those things on top of each other.
Yeah.
You're not just lack of fuel, but also lack of sleep and also lack of the people that you know and love around you, and they're not being used to running at that pace, and running for so long, and you're not used to running that sort of distance either. There's lots of things through the night. There's loads and loads of things that's stacking on top of each other then that are like, oh, this is out of my comfort zone. I'm not fueled or well rested to be able to deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And not feeling like you're in control as well. And there were a couple of times sort of in that 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. Period where like I almost face planted a couple of times. Like I was just tripping over nothing. And I don't know if that was just due to sleep deprivation or not. But there were a couple of close calls where I kind of tripped, but then somehow landed on my feet okay, and I think it just knocked a lot of confidence out of me. So
yeah, of course.
So that wasn't too helpful. But But once 15 came around and the excitement of 100Ks, I think, that changed. But then at the same time, I knew the end was near.
Yeah.
So in my head, I was like, well, I'm going to do 15 and I'm going to call it because I'm done. So that was me. How about laps 16 to 20 for you, Vicky? So this is morning time. This is past the 100.
Yeah. So it was nice. I took a few photos actually on the other side of the lake of my watch when it ticked over 100. And I got with a lake in the background, and it was a lovely still morning. It was not too hot. The breeze did pick up a little bit, but it was quite overcast as well. I don't know. I guess you would have noticed that, Simon, because you were still running at till 7, 8?
8, yep.
Yeah. Yep. It was just the weather was perfect. It couldn't have been any better. So I had my emergency shoe change delivered from my dear Nancy, who honestly is, just incredible. So changed those, and I had another, who was in my crew at that point? I can't remember. But I knew that at that point we were coming up to sort of a few, I was having a changeover of crew. So Lindsay was coming back. She'd been there the night before. So that was something else to look forward to. And I knew that I'd got a change of clothes coming up because I was going to put back on my long sleeves and my Legionnaires hat. So I would be nice to sun protect. So all these things I just use as little milestones of things to look forward to. It was probably about this point, maybe towards the back end of this block of laps we're talking about, where I think, and it happened the same the last time I did it, I started to get quite emotional at the people that were standing outside cheering, that were just coming outside their houses on the other side of the lake. And I would be walking along and just really choke up and just get so emotional because it was just the kindness of people to do that.
Yeah.
And so I did that for a few laps. I was like, I got over it eventually, and I was like, thank you, that's lovely, thanks. But yeah, there were people on their balconies. There were people that had come back down, and that had been there the night before, and it was
so lovely.
It's lovely. That's why this event is special, because I know there are other events where you go away and camp, and the atmosphere on the village is really, really good. But this one has the benefit of having such a central location that people will do that. Like they will just come out of their houses and support, or, people will pop down. So once morning comes, that people will start popping down again, and you're also coming up to some good milestones then, because you've got people pressing on for the kind of like heading towards 24, like getting closer to 24, so kind of wanting to get to that point. So yeah, I was okay. I was pretty good still. Just still eating, still getting my fuel in, still padding my blisters. just plugging away, listening to my music. I just listened to music most of the time when I wasn't talking to people, and I love music so much. It just brings me so much joy that I just listened to the music that I loved, and that lifted me. And it was good.
Yeah, I think you touched on there's a section of the lake where it's touching on the residential area, and just having people either out on the balconies or just coming to that section of the footpath. That's such a pretty cool feeling to see them lap after lap. There was those bunch of kids, or a family that was sort of in maybe 2Ks in of the loop, and they were there until 8 p.m. it felt like. And then there were a bunch of cars on the other side of the lake where those families were there till pretty late in the evening as well.
On the Saturday, there was a boy on a scooter. I don't know, you might have seen him, or maybe, no, he was there quite early actually, so you probably would have seen him at the first bridge. And he was maybe, I don't know, maybe 10, 11. And he was just there with his scooter, just clapping on his own, lap after lap after lap. And I was like,
That's so sweet.
How nice are you to stand here? And then I think his family were further down, or people that he knew were further down, and they got this massive sign. And that they'd made out of a sheet, and I can't remember what they'd written on it, but they'd written something on it, and they were holding it up every lap when we went past.
Oh,
It's so nice. Yeah.
that is so lovely. I guess
Yeah.
that's what like pulls you through when you are looking for a bit of support on the side from people that you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 15 for me was good because I knew the end was nigh, and so it was a very positive lap. And then so by then we had a crew change, so we had Ella and Matt there, and then just as I was finishing lap 15, Linda and Miata sort of arrived just in time as I was finishing, and Linda just goes, "Oh, you look pretty fresh. How about you just go one more, just go evens, even
Aww.
16." So and then Miata's like, "Yeah, just go one more," and I'm like, "Okay, I'll go one more."
Oh, I love that.
So that got me through the start of 16, and then once 16 started, I instantly regretted it. I was like, "Oh, I don't want to do this at all," but I completed it, and I think there were a couple of people who were going on their sort of runs on a Saturday around herdsmen anyway, so I think that got me through that loop. It was quite an enjoyable loop, even though mentally I had already sort of clocked off that I was done. And I think I had also heard prior to starting lap 16 that Renee was going to travel from Freo to come to Herdys. So there was a bit of, well, you better do lap 16 so that she can see you finish. So that got me through lap 16. And once 16 was done, I think you had already finished your lap, Vicky. I think, you and Andy were already at the gazebo, and you were saying something along the lines of, "Oh, wouldn't this be great for the podcast if you just do some more, like think about the fans and all that sort of stuff?" And I think the thing I said instantly to you was, "Well, fuck the fans, because I am done." and DNF'd. So that was the end. That was the end for me. And I think after confirming I wasn't going to go out for lap 17, I think there was this sheer relief. Physically, I was fine. So arguably, if I was pushing myself, I probably would have been able to squeeze a couple more in me. But a lot of relief that it was all done and over.
Yeah, wow.
That's for sure.
So solid training run.
Yeah.
Yep. Good 107k aerobic run for my secret marathon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to be a big backup now.
Yeah,
I think you did awesome to be not enjoying it for that long and to keep plugging away.
Yeah.
I think there's lots, you'll reflect more, I reckon, over the course of the coming weeks. But I think there were probably a few things that if you'd have just tweaked, you would have had got a lot more enjoyment out of it. But yeah, good on you.
Yeah, I think there's
huge.
Yeah, I think knowing what that feeling feels like, because it was a lot of unknowns, I think, for me. And I know one of your tips prior to Herdys was, being adaptable and flexible with things when things go wrong or things change. But it's such a huge unknown for me, right?
Yeah.
So you don't know what you're adapting to. And,
no.
And it sort of just makes me realize that some of the guys in the Wolves team who haven't done a backyard ultra and went the distance, a decent distance, kudos to them to being able to pull through and adapt and all that. So, will I do one again? Probably not. We will see.
It's early days. We'll ask you next week.
Well, there's a pool of early bird until Wednesday, apparently, according to Sean. So no.
There we go.
Currently,
maybe we can convince you then for Comrades 2027. Just tick another one off.
Oh, maybe. It's probably a hard sell for Linda, but we'll see. All right. So we are now sort of past midday and heading into the afternoon. How's the afternoon for you, Vicky?
So this was lap 20. So I think when you get to 20, or for me, it was actually what happened was I was on lap 20 and I got halfway round, or maybe a quarter of the way around, and I ran and I got to a guy who was wearing a Herdys shirt with 15 on the back. And I was like, oh, wow, congrats. Was 15 your PB before this? And he said, yeah. I was like, oh, that's a massive PB. Well done. That's amazing. We're on like 18 or 19 now, aren't we? And he went, no, we're on 20. And I was like, are we? And he said, yeah, I'm pretty sure we're on 20. I was like, I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's 19. And then this other guy ran past and I was like, are we on 20? And he went, yeah, we're on 20. And so I got a free lap at that point. I was like, oh my goodness, amazing. I've just like banked it. I didn't even realise. So 20 just came, and so that was great. And that guy was obviously doing very well as well. He'd got a 5-lap PB already, and he was just going to keep going. And I'd had another crew change. That was nice. I was still feeling okay legs-wise, and my blisters were all under control by this point. I was like, yeah, they hurt, but I'm just going to get on with it. And I've got pain relief, and I've got, everything that I need. So pressed it on. I was doing my kind of same sort of run-walk thing. I was either doing 5 and 5 or 6 and 4, or just running and walking at landmarks. I was just kind of making it up as I went along, but knowing that I knew where I needed to get to on the trail or on the top of the road, when on the top of the path where you turn left onto John Sanders Drive and go into the trail, where I knew that I needed to get there between like 35 minutes was very comfortable, and I probably would need to walk a bit more towards the end to then make sure I didn't get in any earlier than 50. So that's what I was trying to do. And yeah, just ticking them off. And then obviously then 22 came, which is the 2-2 lap. Which is a really good milestone, and that was my PB lap as well.
Nice.
And so I was like, right, yep, I'm going to just get this done. And it was a really fun start line, and we all got a photo. And there was maybe a record for the biggest number at 22 or maybe 24, I'm not sure. But anyway, I went out on that lap and I saw some of the guys that I'd been running some laps with earlier on. Darren Chandler was one of them, and they all knew that 22 was my PB lap, and so they were all like high-fiving me and hugging me and just like really encouraging and lovely, and it just made me feel like quite special for being on my PB lap. So got in on that one, and then I was like, right, just get it done. 24. So I decided by this point 24 was my goal. I wasn't going any further, because I was like, I'm all right, but I'm like ready, like kind of like over it now. So I'm just going to get to 24 and then I'll stop. And that's a good goal. And then and I'd got a bit of my Achilles had started getting a little bit sore, and my knee had started to get a little bit sore as well. So I got some cupping from Kate Timmins. She stopped by with her cups and like sorted my knee out, which really helped actually. And just gave me a really good massage. And then I'd got another friend had popped by who's a nurse with her little Frenchie Henry, who is my support dog. And so he came and looked at me and, told me it was all okay. And she was massaging one leg. And then one of my crew, I think Lindsay probably was massaging my other leg. And so I was getting a lot of attention. It was great. I was getting all this attention in the gazebo, and Andy Carrington, like the ever seasoned, ever calm guy that he is, just coming in, just sitting next to me, no attention whatsoever, just like having his food, just like chill. And everyone's like, have a towel, have a massage, here's some ibuprofen gel. Anyway, it was what I needed. It was helping me, so that was good. And Andy's just so positive, even though he doesn't necessarily always feel positive. He's puts on a really brave face and a smile and keeps plugging away. So he was awesome support, especially in the later laps. Big Kev and I shared a few laps together, and then we got to 23. We were finishing 24. That was it. And we were in the trail section, and I was done. I was like, right, I'm not going again. This is me. I'm really, really happy with this. And I just like saying to him, I was like, I just don't know how you keep going. I just don't know at this point. Like, I'm just tired. I just want to stop. Yeah. I'm not injured. I'm not hurting particularly. I just don't really want to do it anymore. And Big
So
Kev
fair.
was this part chasing me through the trails, and I was running very slowly but managing to keep ahead of him while he chased me and shouting at me, Vicky, you need to do another lap. You've got to get out on another lap. You can't stop at 24. You've got to go again. And Andy was behind him just watching this unfold while I just like slowly shuffled away from him down the trail, and he slowly shuffled behind me. And he didn't catch me. So I was like, nah, I'm not doing it. And then I got in, Sean was on the megaphone at the finish line, calling everyone in for 24, and lots and lots of spectators there. I felt very special. It was lovely.
Yeah.
And I said to JP was there and gave me a high five, and I was like, no, I'm done. And he went, you got time, you can go. And I was like, I know I've got time, I'm going to go. And my crew were there, and they put a towel around my neck, and they went a cold towel, and they sat me down. They'd moved my chair into the shade, and they were like, right, we're going to get you sorted, and we're going to give you no, actually my chair was still in the tent at this point because there's still lots of hustle and bustle in the tent. They're right, we're going to give you pain relief, we're going to give you no-dose, and we're going to give you what food do you want. I was like, I don't need any food, I don't need any pain relief, I'm not going again, that's it, I'm done. And they were like, no, you just need to shut your eyes, take a few deep breaths. And I had like, again, one on each leg. I had like a cold towel around my neck. They were changing my ice, they were changing my water. They were like, it was like a pit stop crew. And even Guy, who is like the person that would say, no, stop now, you've done enough, stop. Even he was going, have some custard. And I think because he was doing that, I knew that it probably wasn't time to quit just yet. So so Lauren got me to close my eyes and take some deep breaths. And then they were like, right, we're going to get you in the corral. I was like, I'm not going. And they were like, we're just going to get you in there. So they did. And I went again for a 25.
Nice.
So good.
And I did nearly fall over at that point because I was like kind of not really walking straight. But managed to get around in about the same time again. And probably similar to you, Simon, body-wise, I could have done another lap after 25, but mind-wise, I just wasn't in it anymore. I was okay, and I'd done enough, and I don't want to repeat a backyard ultra to that extent. I don't want to go and do another one. And I know I said I wanted 26 laps for 2026, but 25 for 2026 is perfectly okay with me. And I was very, very happy to finish there. So and then
so amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, it did feel amazing. I'm really proud of myself and very happy to have finished it off like that and feel it was good. So my crew proceeded to sit me back in my chair, give me a face mask, give me a foot spa. Like, honestly, I told you that.
So that photo is after, not mid.
No, that was after. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I love it.
So they brought off. Lauren was like, "So I've got a face mask." And I was like, "Why have you got a face mask?" So she put the face mask on me. They took my shoes and socks off. They put my feet in cold water, and then they wrapped them in a towel, and so they were all nice and warm. And they put my big towel over me, and yes. And that was it. And then I came home and went straight to sleep.
Beautiful. Deserved. Well deserved.
Yeah.
I think I remember messaging, I can't remember if it was the Wolves chat or the BTRC one, where I went, is Vicky still out there? And I think instantly you replied back, yes, I'm still here. I'm still running. So it looked like you were still in the game and raring to go. I can't remember what lap that was, but unbelievable effort, mate. Yeah.
Huge.
So no backyard ultras for the near future for you?
No, I can close that chapter. I'm really happy with it. I learned loads. I learned loads the first time. I put it into practice. I learned loads the second time. I feel I had better perspective. I adapted. I accepted that just because things are bad doesn't mean they're always going to be bad, that they will get better. And I just felt like I rolled with it, and I really enjoyed it. Really, really, really enjoyed it. Yeah,
Beautiful.
made lots of new friends, and
for being out there for so long. That's so good that you actually came away enjoying it.
yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah, lots of great memories made.
Yeah. So I mean, next year we'll just crew for Sheng, right?
Yes, I'd love to crew for Sheng. Sheng is one of the wolves, and he did his first backyard, and he did 22 laps, and then proceeded to nearly faint on me in the corral. He was amazing, and he's such a lovely, smiley guy. And so I have offered to crew him if he wants to give it another crack, because I'd love to see him go a long way, and I think he would.
I think he would. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah, definitely.
I guess any other reflections from that experience? I mean, the second time for you, Vicky, was it all you kind of, and also the fact that you missed out last year due to injury. You had to pull the pin on Herdys. So it's been a couple of days now. Like any thoughts on what Herdys means to you now and the chapter of Backyard Ultras for you?
It's probably mostly about it be like I don't think there's any such thing as failure. In like life in general, I think that you don't fail, you learn, and I think I learned lots the first time. And I'm not sure that you could ever say that anyone running any distance at an event like that is a failure, or anyone running any distance, to be honest, is a failure. But so I think I just think it's probably about, it's a good recipe for life. It's just to, things don't always go to plan. So you run the race you get, not the race you plan. And you learn from it, and you grow, and you try to make the best of the situation. I suppose it's just like, other than that, the people that you meet along the way, and the memories that you make with them, and the things that I keep remembering of what happened. I caught with one of my crew today because we worked together, and she was telling me things that I'd forgotten or I didn't know that had happened, and that was really lovely. And she was just like, people have jogged my memory on things, and they'll continue to, like, my memory will continue to be jogged. It just builds so many, builds bonds. I think there's something special about going through not hardship, but something that's maybe not always the most pleasant experience, going through adversity with people and suffering. You bond so much more strongly and more quickly than you would in another situation. And there's some great people in our running community that are just lovely and kind and supportive. So, yeah. Yeah.
I think my reflection from the experience is the people that crew for people in these events is incredible, because it's not like a road race where it's a couple of hours of commitment. This is days, and it's just crazy that people would give up their time to do that. It's really incredible. So
yeah, I completely agree with you. I completely agree. It's special. Definitely a team event. There is no way. There is absolutely no way I would have done 25 laps. Lap 25 without my crew physically forcing me out and giving me what I needed to get out. But I wouldn't have done the 24 before that without them either, because they were essential, absolutely essential. Yeah.
Well, that's Herdys 2026. Wrapped and done. Look, never again for me, but never say never. And never say never for Vicky as well. And you never know. Sav, does this interest you after hearing that recap?
No, I'm really sorry. There's nothing that excites me about it. I've looked into it, but I'm sorry. I'll leave that up to you guys. You sound all across it, but not for me.
Not for you. All right. Sounds good. All right. Well, let's move on to someone. Hey.
No, go on. Carry on.
No. Let's move on to some of the other results of the weekend. So we had the Canning River Runningworks Festival that was on Sunday, the 15th of March. It is a lapped course. I think this was probably one of the first times that Chris and I just straight out lied about the course profile of a race on a podcast, where we claimed that it was a very flat looped course at Canning River, but it is clearly not. It's very undulating. That we later found out. I think Chris did the 10K and I was a pacer in the marathon, and yep, very windy and very undulating. So a tough course, but a great event nonetheless by Chris and the team at Runningworks. So we had the 10K all the way through to the marathon. So we'll start with the 10K. We had Debbie Donald taking out the win for the women's race in 38:15. Sophie Ann Daly in 48:41 and Kerry Letman in 48:44. In the men's race, we had Jeremy Ng winning in 37:04. Coming second is, how would I say that? I'm going to say it's a silent T. So I'm going to say Jada Allison in 38:33 and Matthew Schrader in 39:29. In the half marathon, in the women's race, we had Anna Watts taking out the win in 1 hour 47 seconds. Fiona Sutcliffe in 1:37.05 coming second, and Leanne Flugel coming third in 1:38.40. In the men's race, we had Darren Robertson take out the win in 1:18.07. Reece Shaw in 1:18.14, so that's very close there. And then close third is William Gurr in 1:18.54. In the marathon, in the women's race, we had Trang Nguyen in 3:18.43, Beck Hefferon in 3:49.06, and Amy Royal in 3:54.27. And in the men's race, we had John Pence taking out the win in 2:52.45, Todd McBride in 3:04.23, and Alex Vickery in 3 hours, 8 minutes and 24 seconds. Have you guys done Canning River before at all?
No, not me.
No, not me. No.
Yeah, it's to be honest, it's like a perfect time for tune-up races. So it's a decent event by the guys at Runningworks. We also had Alex Vickery drop a voice memo on his race. So I'm going to play this now. Hopefully this works. This is Alex.
Hey, Vici, Simon and Chris, long-time listener, first-time caller. Just on my way home from the Runningworks Canning River Running Festival. It was another great event from Chris Lark and his team. It's a 4-lap course, which means that you're seeing people kind of the whole way. You can dole out some high fives on the way through. The only downside is probably that it's one shared path the whole way, so it can get a bit congested. The sides of the path are soft sand, so it's a bit risky trying to overtake on the outside. I saw a few rolled ankles happening on the way through the course. It's also a bit undulating. It was definitely I'd call it a personal challenge course, I guess, rather than a personal best course. My watch measured about 350 metres of elevation, which isn't massive, but there's kind of no point on the course that you can settle into a rhythm. You're either climbing or descending, which kind of zaps the legs a little bit. I had a pretty fun race. John Pence took the win. He was off from the start. He flew through the first kilometres of the course and then held the gap. It was pretty impressive. I think he ran 2:52, which is amazing. And I ran with Todd McBride for a lot of the course, probably about half of the course. And then he was kind of on my heels. And then he told me he was going to have a crack at staying under 3 hours. And then he left me in his dust from then on. He was a very strong performer. He did really well. Myself, I was aiming for about 3 hours. Didn't quite get there and ended up with 3:08. But I gave it everything and came away with third place. So all in all, pretty happy with how it went. Vicky and Simon, look, well done at Herdys. I hope you're recovering well. Can't wait to see Chris beat his soft serve PB. So good luck there. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
That was Alex Vickery. Forgot about the ice cream bet.
We should get Alex on the podcast. He was great.
Yeah. Well, Alex, slide into our DMs. We'll get you on.
Yeah.
As a co-host.
What a great little succinct, feedback on the race. Very good.
Straight after a marathon too.
I know, very coherent.
Yeah. I'm not like that whatsoever.
I
even
can
well
imagine.
after a marathon. Yeah. All right, we had Darlington Half Marathon and the 8K. That was also on Sunday the 15th. We had the 8K as well as the half marathon. Sav, floor's yours.
Yes, alrighty. So we had Oliver Jamieson win the men's 8K in 30:17, one of the Ogging guys there. I'll give him a little shout out. In second, Dylan Cornish in 30:51, and then third, Aloysius, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, David, 31:02. And then in the females 8Ks, we had Jess Byrd in 30:39, Ogging as well. So we took out the win for males and females, which is very exciting. Second, Maddie Rhodes in 35:04, and then third, Anna Waddy in 39:42. And then in the half marathon, really tough course with the half marathon and the elevation and the trail side of things. In the males, we had first Matt Burton in 1 hour 14:49, second Reese Mabs in 1 hour 15:16, and then third Max Davidson in 1 hour 16:17. And then in the females, we had Ashley Ritson running 1:27:22, and then Kirsten Burst in 1:28:31. And then in third, Rosie Sperling running 1:35:32. So, yeah, really good running by everyone across that really tough course in Darlington.
Yes, very well done to everyone there. I was I was congratulating Rido on the win, and she replied that what got her through was at the top of the hill. There was Mark Faithful, who's I don't think he was the race director of Darlington, maybe he was, but he's famous for wearing like short denim shorts and being barefoot. And just seeing the side of him just got her through and onto the downhill stretch, and being able to take the win from that. So good on you, Rido. I think she was originally trying to get tickets for Darlington, and they sold out, and then the Marathon Club released some more tickets, so she was able to snag an entry and go in for the win. And Rosie, nice to see her back running well as well. So nice to see.
Yeah, great to see Rosie in the top three there. I'm very impressed with her. She was at work today and very subtly mentioned, as I was talking about, obviously going on about my achievement from the weekend. I ran a half marathon PB, and then I was looking at this and I was like, Rosie, you were on the podium. She's like, oh yeah, but no. So I called her out.
And then anyway, back to my Herdys.
No, I didn't do that. I celebrated her podium.
Very good, Rosie. All right, we've got a couple of voice memos from Oliver and then Jess, so we'll start with Oliver first. Hopefully this works.
Hey, so Darlington Half Marathon and 8K, which I was doing the 8 kilometre. Yeah, it was a really lovely course, almost all dirt and gravel, so very runnable, and was able to use carbons as opposed to trail shoes, which was a nice change for a trail race. The 8K course was 4Ks out and 4Ks back, with first half being a gradual uphill and the second half was a nice downhill where you could really pick the speed up. I've been trying to get some experience on the trails recently and get some wins on the board in the lead up to the PTS Winter Series. So the goal going into it today was really to treat it as a hard tempo workout and see where we went from there. Felt really good throughout the race. The course starts with a run across some soft grass on a cricket oval for the first few hundred metres, and then a few sharp turns on some technical trail, which gets you down and around to the Darlington Heritage Trail, where the rest of the race is. So I took an early lead shortly after that section and was able to build that up pretty consistently throughout the race. Felt really solid on the uphills, and then could really let the legs go on the second half downhill and pick the speed up, which I think was the same for all the athletes. And yeah, it was a really great day out, great weather for it, and some really good performances and some good athletes there. Had another Ogging athlete, Jess Byrd, finish second overall. She had a really great kick in the last couple Ks. And yeah, it was a really enjoyable race. Really loved it.
Thank you, Oliver. And then we also had Jess Byrd dropping a voice memo. This is Jess.
Hey, Sav. I've never sent a voice message, so I'm hoping that this is okay and that you can cut it. If not, tell me what to do and I'll try it again. Anyways, the race. So kind of went in with open thoughts. Had a bit of a game plan of running the first 4Ks a little bit slower and then picking up for the final 4Ks. And that definitely helped, as I found the first 4Ks were much harder running into the wind and also the slight uphill. You definitely felt it by the time you got to the top and to the turnaround. I went out kind of strong for the first kilometre though and got myself into a good rhythm, a good pace, and then found a guy that, you know, I was quite comfortable with sitting behind and just basically followed in his footsteps up until the 4K, which I think helped. And the pace was a little bit slower than what I think I would have liked, but I was quite happy to sit and just be comfortable, really, especially as, you know, I'm coming off a bit of a holiday and a bit of a funky training set recently, so that worked in my favour, because then when we got to the 4K I felt really quite good. So we turned around and obviously had more of a downhill slope to the finish, and I found that really good. The wind helped as well, so I picked up pace quite a bit, and yeah, just found my rhythm, sat in that, and then with about I'd say about 1,500 metres to go, I saw a guy in front of me who was in second place, so I made it my little goal to try and catch him and overtake him. So with about 800 metres left, I caught him and overtook him, and then just kind of turned on the jets and sprinted a bit and gave it a bit more oomph, and then got to the final few hundred metres and hit the grass into the home stretch, and that was really nice. And yeah, that was the race summed up pretty well. So overall pretty happy, and it was such a good event. The course itself was wonderful, beautiful views in a beautiful area, and very lucky with the weather, of course. And the WA Marathon Club, they were amazing. It was a wonderfully organised event. So thank you very much.
That was Jess with her recap of the race. I've got a feeling that Jess is a bit of a sandbagger. Like she's pretty quick, isn't she, Sav?
She's very fast. Yeah, and I guess, as you said, she's just been away on holiday for 4 weeks. So training's been a bit up in the air, but she's running really well. But yeah, she doesn't give herself enough credit. So she's definitely one to watch in the next few months, I'd say.
I was having a look at her Strava. I saw that she played soccer that afternoon.
So she is a ref. So she refs.
Okay.
But she did have 2 reffing games, Saturday and Sunday. So she still clocks up like 11 Ks each game reffing. So, you know, take that into consideration when I do her plans.
Oh my goodness. And still running very well. Amazing
very
stuff.
well. Very speedy.
Very, very good. All right. Well, I'll quickly run through upcoming events because we are recording. It's been an hour and 54 minutes. So we have the WA Coastal Running Festival next Sunday. We have Exterior Dunsborough the week after. That is over the weekend in Dunsborough with some trail runs that include the 12K half marathon and marathon distance. And then Easter weekend, on the Easter Monday, we've got the Urban Coast Run and Ultra up Mullaloo Way, with the 10K solo, half marathon solo, 27K solo, 64K solo, as well as a 64 relay. We've got Delirious West for you crazy folk between the 8th of April to the Sunday, the 12th of April, which is from Northcliffe to Albany. We've got a 200 miler starting on Wednesday and 100 miler starting on Thursday. I've got a feeling that this is something that Big Kev will do and most likely do. And I think my Strava nemesis, Justin, said he was doing the 100 miler. So it will be interesting to see how those guys go. And then we've got Bunbury Running Festival on the 12th of April and then Bridges on the 19th of April. All right, let's move to Vicky's verbalizations. Do you have anything there, Vicky?
Yes, I do. So very kindly, we were gifted a entry to the WA Coastal Running Festival next weekend. And I don't know what we were thinking when we both got very excited about this race, because
I think it was like Sean's energy.
It was Sean. It was probably Sean's energy, yes.
Yeah.
And it does sound like a great event, and I would love to make it, but my feet at the moment I can't fit them in shoes, so I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to run 10Ks next weekend. So it's a 20K relay event that we have an entry to, and we just wanted to put a shout out to see if any of our lovely listeners would like to take that entry on as Team Warp. So if you do want to do either a fun or a fast hit out from up it's Mullaloo on the 22nd of March. It's a 2-person relay, so 10K each, and that entry is up for grabs. So slide into our DMs. We'll perhaps put a post up on it if we don't get any takers immediately, because we'd like it to go to a good home, seeing as though Simon and I are not in a fit state.
Yeah. So it's a combination of us not being in a fit state. It's also my wedding anniversary, so I feel like I am playing with fire, doing a race immediately after Herdys. So slide into our DMs and we'll give the relay ticket away. All right, let's quickly go through our weapons of warp as Vicky's typing furiously with all these names that we're going to shout out. But I'll start with Chart Miller. He's a weapon in many ways, but he did 15 yards at Herdys over the weekend. I think his original plan was to do 8 and managed to make it all the way through to 100 Ks. His weapon nomination comes after completing Herdys and then doing a 5K obstacle course race with his cousin the next day. Not too sure how Chart was able to pull that off. So kudos to you, Chart. We had the German Alexander Schultz, who did the 49 yards. Now, there was a lot of stories coming from about Alexander, whether it was him only rocking up with sardines and water to rocking up on Friday to help with setup. A lot was talked about Alexander. Was there anything else that you wanted to add, Vicky, about Alexander that you had heard about?
I watched the live video of Alex being pushed from the finish line to the start line with by Gemma and Phil Gore, and it was pretty incredible to watch. They were shoving fuel into his hands. They were giving him pain relief. They were giving him no dose. This was lap 49 to get him out on 50, and time was ticking down, and we were watching the clock and thinking, it's 3:59 now. 3:59, was that right? No, 5:59. Yeah, whatever time it was. Anyway, it was 59 minutes past the hour. He's not going to make it. He's not going to make it. He'd make it to the corral, and he got over the line, and then the live ended, and then he must have turned back after that on yard 50. But it was something. Bless him. He was done. He was done by that point. But awesome effort.
Any shout outs from you around Herdys in terms of weapon nominations?
Me? Yes. I'll run through quickly because I know we're late on time, but I wanted to give, we've mentioned Sheng already. Sheng from Team Tina, he did his first backyard, 22 yards, pretty much fainted at the end of it, but just such a happy guy. He's always smiling, great energy. Andy Carrington was my tent mate, as I mentioned, just full of positivity, wise words, just generous with his time, his thoughts, kind, supportive, not just to me, but to anyone around him. He's supportive too. He just brings a really nice energy, and he did 26 yards in the end. So great effort from him. Mahada Mooney, one of the wolves, she fell over about 7 yards in, I think, and then managed to do another 2 or 3 after that. So she finished on 10. She was pretty patched up. She'd cut her face, she'd cut her shoulder, and she wasn't feeling too good, but she kept pushing on. Another wolf, or another few wolves actually. Essen did 15 distance PB and just looked really, really strong. Mark, I've already mentioned, who just always, Mark Smith, brings great energy, did 18, that was his first. Backyard, Brian Book, avid listener, also first backyard, I think he did 16.
Yeah, he did 16.
Yeah. Yep. Great effort from Brian. Just, again, lovely guy, kind, supportive, good energy. Chris Nucky from the last person standing competition that I am in. I'd never met him, but I was introduced to him on, I think it was lap 24-ish. He did 30. He reckons he's pulling out of the last person standing competition now. I'm not buying it at all. But yeah, incredible effort from me. I reckon so as well. We can't do a Weapons of War when Herdys has just been on without calling out Big Kev. 30 yards with very little training. And Darren Chandler, another great guy, really supportive, encouraging to those around him. 42 yards and I think that was three lap PB, I think, 3 or 4. And I want to shout out a tattooed guy in a hat who was super lovely to me when I was in tears about the spectators cheering me on. The other side, and he gave my neck a rub and he said, "It's all right, let it out, it's all right, it's all right, that's why we're here." He was so kind, and I didn't get his name, and if he listens, sorry that I didn't get your name. I did thank him multiple times. He probably thinks you're so crazy, but anyway, he was very kind. And also I will mention again Colin, who won the event and is also going to do Delirious 200 miler in 3 weeks time, after doing 50 yards at Herdys. Him and his mates, just a really good bunch of guys from Bunbury Running Club. So yeah, they make them good down there, obviously. And Margie Hadley is still on her last person standing competition. She did Herdys day 72 on Friday. Then she did day 7. She went to bed. She tapped out at Herdys, went to bed, got up again, ran in the opposite direction for many laps to get 73 Ks in on Saturday, cheering us runners on every lap, just loads of energy. And then she also did her day 74 yesterday there as well, doing the same thing. Wow. And it was very hot over the weekend. And I will also give Tom Rado, who we've had on, a shout out as well, because he ran both Saturday and Sunday with Margie, did the whole 74 with her yesterday.
Crazy.
Which was a pretty epic effort from him as well. And he was a great support. So, yeah, just a few from me. Sorry about that. But hopefully
just shout out everyone. That's fine.
Yeah, all of the people and everyone else who did Herdys and everyone else who supported.
Everyone who did Herdys, everyone who crewed, volunteered, was an organizer. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Big event.
Yeah.
Well, that is it for our episode. It's probably the longest one we've ever done, Sav. Thank you.
I'm pleased that I'm on this journey.
Well, thank you for joining us. I feel like this won't be the last time you'll be on, but thanks for joining us
we'll
tonight.
Thank you.
And see you, Thursday for coffee? Is that the plan?
Yeah, Thursday, run and coffee.
Yep, done.
You're back running by then.
Yep. Oh, maybe. We'll see.
All right, come for coffee.
Yeah, I'll come for coffee. Thank you, Sav. Thank you, Vicky. And thank you, everyone. You can reach out to us at WA Running Pod on Instagram, warunningpodcast@gmail.com, and our Strava group, Warp. Thanks for joining us this week, and we will catch you next time on the WA Running Podcast. See ya.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Goodbye.
See ya. longest episode. This is past our bedtime.
Yeah, I'm normally asleep 2 hours ago, so yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. I did say I got 25 hours of material to go through.
You ran for the content.
I think I kept it quite short, actually.
Yeah.